buying of the Christmas gifts, the running around, the Christmas cards we fill out, the messages we post, all the things. I don't know about you, but my Facebook has just been full of Merry Christmas, and this is what this means, and this is what that means. And it always makes me sit and think. I think of some of the old prophets. I think of the book of Isaiah and how they prophesied Jesus coming and why Jesus would come and the times that it was. And sometimes when I think of the times that were then, they had all this upheaval in the government. They had people being taken captive, actually, and turned into slaves or devalued as human beings. I think of all the stuff that's been going on in our country, and the names that have been called people by public figures, and I don't ever remember that happening before. Not like it did this year. And I think, oh come love. Where is love? What is love all about? Is love just what happens when you stand at the altar and pledge your love to another human being? Is that what love is all about? Is it always limited to just one person or a family that we may produce or come from? What is love? And how do we spread it around? And then I read the story of Joseph. And that's a story that's always kind of touched my heart. If you think about it, here we have a man who's been an honorable man. Here he is going to marry the woman of his dreams. In that time and age, that meant that he worked very hard. You know, Joseph was quite a bit older than Mary. It meant he had to work very hard to have enough money to have a life. And here he had worked, and he had worked at his trade and built a small home and got all this stuff ready so that he could have a bride. He could have the woman of his dreams. And then all of a sudden, he finds out she's pregnant. Now think about it. Think about you and your life. What would have happened if you were ready to step in front of that altar and you found out your partner was going to have a baby or fathered a baby in the same time period that they were supposed to be your true love? How would you have felt about it? Well, Joseph was kind, so he thought in his head, I'll just put her aside quietly, silently. Otherwise, I'll just disappear out of her life. And an angel came to him, and the angel told him that this was God's child, and he was to marry her, but he couldn't touch her physically until after the baby was born. And then it was going to be his responsibility to raise this child. Now think about it. Some of us have stepchildren. Some of us don't. Some of us could have been stepchildren. Some could have been half brothers and half sisters. And how did you feel about those people? One of my favorite sayings from the South is always, you're treated like a redheaded stepchild. I always wondered what that meant. Except it meant that that child was treated badly. Now, when it's your own child, they're kind of easy to forgive. You think about it. You might think, well, they made a mistake. I'll spank their little butts and they'll behave. At least you hope they behave. But no matter what it is, you kind of forgive them and go on in life. But if it's a stepchild, it hurts your feelings. Now think about it. Even more so than if it's your own child. If they show disrespect for you, you think, what did I ever do to them? I've given them all I could give them. I've done all I could do for them. How am I supposed to love them? And they don't even respect me. They just tolerate me. We think about that a lot. I think about half-brothers and half-sisters. Because, see, I have 7 of them, so I can get away with that. And I think about how they idolize the man who left us hungry. And I think how that hurts. And I think of Joseph. And I think how he stepped above it all. He had a stepchild that he loved with all his heart and all his soul. He worked as hard as he could to protect him, to provide for him, to teach him right from wrong, to educate him. I don't know about you, but I know how hard that was to do with my own children. I always told everybody the best job you could do for a child was teach them to love God with all their hearts and all their souls and all their minds, and to love each other as themselves. It's not a lesson I think that was easy to learn or easy to teach. And some of them got it and some of them don't. But then I think, did I take that time with my stepchildren to teach them that? And sometimes I see where I failed. How are we as God's people? Are we like Joseph, that we have enough love in our hearts and our souls to take in a baby that's not ours? To take in folks who aren't in our community, who don't look like us, don't act like us, who are those red-headed stepchildren? Are we following in those steps that Jesus taught us, that Joseph taught us? That if you listen to God, all will be well. That you do have the capacity to love and care for others. That all you have to do is open your heart to the love of God. That God can get you through those tough times. God can keep you safe. And God will give you the messages you need. I think about it. Gabriel appeared to Mary. Joseph dreamed the dreams of the angel and believed his dreams. We're given dreams. We're given dreams of a better world, a better society, a bigger church, a better church. Reaching out to people and caring. And I wonder if we're like Joseph. We have enough faith in our God to act on that. My heart sings with joy when I see you answering the call. The call from the community that just says simple things like, we have people in need and we need you to help. People will never see. People will never know that we helped. And yet the toys are here, the clothes are here, there are food in the back for those that are hungry. Are you living your dream? Are you hearing God's voice in it? Do I look at those around me? And do I see Jesus sitting there? They're questions. Questions of what love really is. Questions of where it goes. It's easy to love those we choose. It's easy, as my mama used to say, to love your family. You may be mad at them, but you still love them. But it's so hard for us to look at our dreams and see beyond. Those few simple people that God has placed in our lives to help us along. I want to be a good mother. Did we ask God to help us do that? I want to be a good father. Did we ask God to help us do it? I want my children to love God with all of their hearts and souls and minds, and all the children of this church. Do I show them that I do? That that's the most important thing in my life? Joseph did. Joseph saw love come down. Joseph saw God with us, and God among us, and Joseph saw God grow up. And he believed. He believed before he saw a miracle. As a matter of fact, he never did see a miracle if we read the Bible. Joseph wasn't there at the wedding. Joseph wasn't there at the feeding of 5,000. Joseph wasn't there for the healing of the blind or the deaf or the lame. But he loved and he believed what God had told him. Are we willing to look here, to dream those dreams, to act upon them the way Joseph did? I love the fact that the fourth candle in Advent is always the candle of love. You see, we start with the candle of peace. Peace is something we all pray for and ask for. What do you want for Christmas? All the celebrities and the beauty queens will say world peace. The second candle is the candle of hope. I hope hope burns in all of our hearts and souls. Hope for a better day, hope for world peace, hope for great things yet to come. The third candle is a candle of joy. It's God simply telling us to take great joy in the life that we are given. Take joy in the mistakes we have made. And take greater joy in the mistakes we've overcome. Take joy in the life that God has given you. And the fourth candle is always the candle of love. Love one another with all your hearts and souls. Look out and see the love that can grow. Nourish that love. Help it. Teach it. Show it. Let love be your guiding light. Amen. Again, Joe.